to school often means back to school bugs, and sickness is no fun for anyone. Here with advice to keep your kids healthy, we welcome back the author of the upcoming book, My One-of-a-Kind Body, Pediatrician Dr. Whitney Casares. It's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's that time of year we're kind of hearing a couple of sniffles in our house and just immediately panicking.
Oh yeah.
No.
It only takes a couple weeks of the kids all being inside and together and touching each other.
I know. And new friends and new germs and all stuff to discover.
Yep.
You've got some great things for us to think about today in terms of preventing the sickness before we even get there.
Yes. So there are a bunch of products on the market, but I want to be super clear about just getting back to basics.
Yeah.
Sleep matters, hydration matters, exercise, getting good nutrition matters, your broccoli and your fruits. And then also getting vaccinated really matters. Like those are the basics of how to care for yourself. So before you go off looking for a bunch of other fancy things, start there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then inevitably a little bug comes up here and there. What are things that we can do as parents and caregivers to keep our kids comfortable and get them back to optimum health as quick as possible?
Yes, absolutely. So one thing I forgot prevention-wise, hand washing. We got to say hand washing too, right? Like I love the hand sanitizers for easy, quick, but there are a lot of studies that talk about this clean hypothesis of maybe like all the eczema and some of the allergies and the asthma stuff. Some of that is tied to maybe we're all way too clean about every single thing with the sanitizers. So I like the hand washing first.
Yeah.
And then yes, in terms of taking care of your kiddos, if they get the little bug, the little sniffles, my favorite thing to do with my kids is to get them in the shower.
Totally.
So that way it's nice and warm and steamy.
Yeah.
The snot is then gonna run out or they're gonna swallow it. It's gonna melt, which I know is gross, but it works. And that way it's not gonna go into their ears or into their lungs as much.
It's gonna go somewhere better off than where it would go if you didn't do anything about it, basically.
Yes, 100%. And then I know there's always questions about, you know, when can I send my kid back to school?
Yeah.
I feel like with COVID, this got really tricky.
Totally.
Like you would have kids coughing up a lung at school, you know, for weeks on end and no one was saying anything. Now I feel like people are a lot more strict. It's supposed to be that if your child has had a fever, that you wait at least 24 hours for that fever to be gone before you send your kid back to school. And then it shouldn't be that your child is escalating in terms of their illness. So it shouldn't be like, you got this cough and it's like nasty and they're feeling terrible. It should be you send them back to school once it seems like, okay, we're kind of over the worst of it. They're not actively every single moment coughing because it's too hard for them to pay attention. It's a distraction for other kids.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, and about the fever too, you don't want to be giving the kids some type of fever-reducing medication and then sending them out the door because they still have a fever.
Yeah, please don't do this. So the fever medications, actually this is a really good point. The fever medications, they aren't meant to cure the fever.
Right.
I use them as a pediatrician just to see how kids are doing. So I like using the fever reducers if there's a temperature over 102.0 Fahrenheit, or if a kid is really uncomfortable, or if I, as a parent, start to get worried, like, uh-oh, my kid looks like stink, I'll use the fever reducers to actually see how they're doing.
Yeah.
Because everybody looks terrible with a fever.
Right.
But if you feel better, you're not as like totally laid out on the couch after you give those medications, that's usually a good indication.
Right. Okay. Tell me about some of the things over here that you've brought for us today.
Yeah. Okay. So I brought a couple things. One, I brought vitamin C, which sometimes people claim like take a bunch of vitamin C. That's a way to help prevent you from having illness. I love the idea of people having vitamins and micronutrients, but you can get them from your diet. So the American Academy of Pediatrics says you don't need actually a multivitamin for healthy kids.
Okay.
You can just eat your fruits and veggies as much as possible. Are there some cases in which I recommend them for kids who are like, you know, have sensory issues, autistic kids, 100%, but generally speaking, these are really expensive and I don't want people to waste their money on it. Elderberry is this one. And for that one, there's just not enough scientific evidence to support its use. Again, expensive things. One caveat to that, medicine, we're very stingy. Like if there's not evidence to say that it works, then we say like, well, then we can't support it because there's no evidence. So could there be additional studies later on? Is it harmful to take elderberry? Probably not.
Right.
Not in the same way that if you took way too much vitamin C, you could probably hurt yourself.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
And then probiotics, this is one area where actually I do feel like there's a lot of really good research around taking probiotics, but it matters what specific strain that you're using. So this one has L. rhamnosus GG, which is the one that's the most clinically studied out of all the different probiotic strains. So just talk to your pediatrician about what to use when, because there are actually some clinical guidelines as to, you know, if you're having a momentary GI upset, or if we're trying to just prevent there from being issues long term, or if we're trying to make sure that you have more regulatory like stools that are doing well, all those types of things. So
it feels like probiotics is such a huge umbrella term now, and there's so many different micro subcategories. So going straight to your doctor seems like a great place to start.
Yes, absolutely. And making sure that it's one that's actually been studied. The thing is with a lot of the supplements that there can be a lot of difference between them. And also, if you're not getting one that has a lot of research behind it, it might even be that within one dose of the probiotic that you're getting like a different amount.
Sure.
So you want one that's an established brand that's been around for a long time. Yeah.
Let's talk about having a sick kid at home, and maybe you've got multiple kiddos. How can you best prevent spreading to everyone in the house? I know it's so hard.
Yeah, this is really difficult. I mean, I do feel like that's one great thing about COVID. We all have a mask hanging around somewhere or another. So grab a mask if you're feeling like your kids are about to, you know, cough directly on other people. Obviously, teach your kids how to use the cough pocket or the vampire cough, I like to call this in my house, washing their hands. And then, yes, as much as you can, try to separate people who are sick out from the other family members. But if you are a single parent, or if you're the one that's taking everybody to school,
so hard.
Set your expectations realistically. That you might get a little sick.
Totally. And bugs come and go, and we survive, and we're going to be okay, and we're all just doing our best.
Yes, exactly.
Great advice. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
great to see you. Okay, Dr. Whitney's upcoming book again is called My One of a Kind Body. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.